Good evening and welcome to the Defiance City Council meeting for tonight, June 9th, 2026. Again, our special guest this evening is Pastor Dave Brobston from St. Paul Lutheran, who is here to open us up in prayer. Thank you for being our guest this evening.
Thank you for the invitation. Let us pray. Gracious God, we give you thanks. We give you thanks as we enter the 250th year of this nation. We pray, gracious God, that we would be reminded in the days, weeks, and months to come that government is of the people, by the people, and for the people. Bless these men and women. Bless this community, that your work may be done and your will may be known. We ask this in your most precious name. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you for being our guest. This meeting is now called to order. Let the record show that all the members of council are present this evening. Would you stand with me for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I've reviewed the index minutes for the meeting of June 2nd, 2026. Do we have a motion to amend or correct the minutes as they're presented? Without any such motion, I'll endorse them. And do we have any liaison meeting reports or requests? Do we have any comments from council this evening? Mrs. Crutch.
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you to the streets. They went through our back alley and trimmed up some of the greens that were coming over, and I know a lot of the neighbors were really pleased and wanted to say thank you to that. And then also for Art in the Park coming up, if the street crews could try to check Fort Street all the way through to make sure the potholes and whatever are filled before Art in the Park so nobody has any accidents.
Last Sunday in June. Correct?
Last Sunday in June. That's all I have.
Thank you. Mr. Waxler.
Oh, yeah, I had a call from a resident at 907, it was 900 block of Perry Street. The car wash is in his backyard, basically, and the old canal's kind of through there. He said somebody's dumping dirt and brick and stuff in there. Not sure who's doing or what they're doing. So
Adjacent to the car wash property?
yeah, you know, the car wash and then the houses, there's an alley and then the houses on Perry. So it's in between the car wash and that alley basically back there. The old canal, kinda, is what they say, it's what he called it.
Yep.
So anyway, I don't want to bring it up. That's all I had, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kaufman.
I have a timely comment, totally unsolicited, but I feel like I have to share it tonight. I ran into a friend yesterday and asked how her parent is, who suffers with dementia, and she relayed, they brought her back home to visit, drove her through her old neighborhood. Nothing was registering, but then they drove past Pontiac Park. And she came back to the present. She said, oh my, our town, I love it. It's so beautiful. And that was the only time during that visit that they'd spent the weekend with her that she came back to the present. And it struck me, and I knew that I needed to present it tonight. So there you go.
Excellent.
Our parks are doing more good than for kids.
Thank
They're
you.
helping senior citizens too.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments from council? On my desk this evening, I have a new application for a liquor license from Legacy Living Management Defiance LLC at 309 Latchaw Road, Defiance, Ohio. And that's just an announcement of our new liquor license application.
Do they want to have a hearing?
Oh, that's a good question. Does anyone have a motion to have a hearing on this application? Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor McCann.
I guess to follow up on that, Mr. Master, I can't help myself but to say what a wonderful addition Legacy Living is to our community. Ian and Paige were at the first Friday luncheon last week out at the YMCA. Basically, Brian from the Y was the featured speaker, but Ian and Paige both spoke about what they're doing out there. They talked about their little lounge where their residents will be able to get together. And, you know, we have two of my favorite veterans out there in the Posey brothers, and we've talked to Legacy Living about our veterans and how we get them together, and Legacy Living is going to be another opportunity for those sorts of things to happen. So we're quite excited about that. I know they keep pushing that grand opening date out there. I think we're into July now, but it's going to be certainly a welcome addition to our community. And other than that, as you know, we've been working through this JED process with the county and, well, not the county, Delaware Township and Defiance Township and the city of Defiance. And I gotta give credit to these three to my left here. They've done a spectacular job working through this. Mrs. Sprague has volunteered her help and her staff's help to get this done, but it's time for me to make an appointment to that JED board. I emailed council earlier in the week to tell you that I felt Ryan Mack was a logical choice because of his comfort in working with both the township and the county. So at this time, I'd like to announce my appointment of Ryan Mack to the JED board.
In regards to the appointment of Ryan Mack to the Joint Economic Development District, the JED, shall the consent of council be given to the appointment proposed by the mayor? All those in favor of the appointment of Ryan Mack, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Congratulations, Mr. Mack.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Nothing like a little more on your desk. Right, just another hat to wear.
It was unanimous at Board of Control as well.
And is there anything else?
No, sir, I'm done. Thank you.
Mr. Mack,
I have nothing for you this time.
Mr. O'Donnell,
Thank you, Mr. President. I would request an executive session to consider confidential information related to the specific business strategy of an applicant for economic development assistance, in which the information involves public infrastructure improvements and the extension of utility services directly related to that project. Revised Code Section 121.22 G8.
we have a request for an executive session this evening. Do we have such a motion?
So move.
So moved, Mr. Mast, second.
Second.
Ms. Kaufman?
Mr. Mass,
Yes.
Mr. Hancock,
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch,
Yes.
Mr. Engel,
Yes.
Mr. Waxler,
Yes.
and Mr. Corbett.
Yes.
All right, before we adjourn this evening, we'll have an executive session. Anything else, Mr. O'Donnell?
That's all I have.
Okay. And Ms. Sprague?
I do not have anything.
Sorry, we're so boring.
Yeah. There are worse things. We do have several items of legislation for consideration today. Would you read the caption?
Yep.
For the first.
Third reading, an ordinance authorizing the creation of parks and riverfront capital improvement number 407 fund.
Ms. Sprague?
Thank you, Mr. President. For your consideration is to create a Fund 407 Parks and Riverfront Capital Improvement Fund. I'm just gonna go through some of the main points we've talked about over the last several meetings. Keep in mind that my proposal was to have this funded by the general fund through monthly transfers. Also will be funded by federal and state grants. For example, Laddie Veterans Park, we've been awarded two grants, some capital dollars around $315-ish, and then the other one was like $120. So that would give us a spot to keep those funds seeded into the 407 instead of the 403, how they've been done in the past. Provides a long-term funding plan for the city's parks and riverfront capital improvements. It will become part of the yearly budget process along with the transfer. That would also be your approval. It provides another layer of transparency to the taxpayer and the auditors, and it strengthens our local partnerships for future funding opportunities to the parks and riverfront capital projects. Do you want to go back to that? I saw you put that slide up.
Yeah, I didn't know if you knew.
So, we went over this last week. I pulled up what debts shift gears to the 403 capital fund. I have a list of debts that will be falling off of the 403 capital fund. So you can see going into next year, there's around 200,000 that will be paid off, or fire would be transferred to their 406 fund, that payment. But that would free up more money to put towards streets. We've talked about it a lot, just putting more money into the streets after Melinda's presentation. $500,000 that we've budgeted in the past is not going as far as it used to. To get to a goal of 750 to $1 million, I think seems to make more sense, just the way the prices have increased. In this, though, I do not have added back in, most likely we will not need the SIB loan that we took out for Ralston. It's still a little early to tell, but you could potentially add in another 100,000 of a debt payment that we would not need. So keep that in mind. Out of the 403 regular capital, where our street funding comes out of, that we should have extra cash to throw towards streets. If that makes sense.
Thank you. Do we have any questions for Ms. Sprague in these regards? Mr. Engel?
No other questions or comments, motion to adopt?
We have a motion to adopt.
I have
Mrs.
a
Cress?
question.
Oh, Mrs. Crutch.
So when you're saying a maximum of $3,600,000, what is that monthly that's gonna come out of the general fund then?
Where are you getting three?
In the resolution, the max.
Oh, in the, that's saying, so the Ohio Revised Code that they came out with says over 10 years, you have to disclose how much the max amount you could have in this fund. That's not saying that would be if you never touched it, never used it. I used the 30,000 that I have on the monthly transfer and calculated it that way. But that's not to say if we did 30,000 the rest of this year and next year you wanted to do 15 or 5 or 40, you just can't go over. We could never go above 30, or you'd have to back it back down. It's to disclose to the public how much money max capacity would be in this fund.
So are you saying that for this year you would do 30,000? Let's say like in 2 months we notice that we need the money from the general fund, we would only do 10,000 or not do anything.
I always bring back a transfer in December, a final transfer.
Right.
And if you don't want to put any money into it in December, we can just put 0.
All right,
Yep.
thank you.
And then January, I always bring you the new list that is January through November. And my plan would be during the budget process to talk about what amount to fund that would be, yeah. But Ohio Revised Code makes you disclose the max amount. So the police and fire ordinance had the same language in it. And that was a recommendation from the auditors when they were in.
Essentially, that's when the bucket is full and you have to stop putting in or lower it down.
Yeah.
Mr. Waxler?
Yeah, again, I just want to state, this is a good thing, I get that, but until we have one for the streets, I just can't vote for this thing. I mean, we need a bunch.
You have to look at the money in the 403 capital fund.
Yeah.
I mean, you have $2.3 million roughly going in there out of the current income tax we have in place.
Yeah.
So that's free to use for streets, provided we take care of the other items that, cemetery comes out of capital. There's another handful of items, but by getting debts paid off and getting some of these police and fire expenses out of the regular capital, you're freeing up more money to put towards streets.
So during the budget, excuse me.
Go ahead.
So during the budget, we could increase that. I know we have a capital improvements fund for streets, but that's also part of the state ODOT. That's why we can get Ralston and Ottawa corridors. I'm talking about just the basic little city streets that need to be done, and we're kind of letting those go. And I think we need to work on those a lot more. So that's why I'm saying, and I agree with Steve, that we need to put more money into that because, when I've asked people, yes, they love the parks and they want to do everything for the parks. And I love the park and riverfront plan, it's part of that. But more people in our city use streets than they do parks, unfortunately. But, everybody uses a street. And when people come into our city, they're not, a lot of them aren't going to the parks, they're going shopping or whatever, and they're driving on our streets. So that's the first thing that they see, they don't see the parks. So, and I would like to see more of a capital improvement or a capital improvement ordinance or something that we could have just for streets, and we put in $30,000 a month also, just for that, and let it accumulate. That's something I'm thinking of.
I guess I feel like that's what we're doing by getting rid of these debts out of the 403 capital and putting another $250,000 to $500,000 a year with that already $500,000. And I think according to what Melinda had presented, are we ever gonna catch up? Are we ever gonna, this is ongoing maintenance forever. But if we could get to $1 million a year, I mean, we could knock out a laundry list of
A little
streets. I completely agree with everything you're saying. I just, getting debt payments taken care of, if you wanna go back, I mean, you're gonna have municipal court paid off soon, you're gonna have, what was the other big one? The Cleveland, Ottawa, that was a 10-year debt, that's almost paid off. Right there's another, almost $500,000, and if you don't need Ralston, I guess I feel like we are doing what you want, it's coming out of the 403. If you create another capital fund, then you have to determine where do you want to fund it from. So are you gonna, and I wouldn't recommend pulling money out of the general fund to fund streets. You have money in capital, we have income tax revenue going directly into capital that can fund what you want.
We just have to increase that amount,
Yeah,
basically.
yeah, I
what you're
think
saying.
in the past, the $500,000 kept a steady pace, but like Melinda presented her numbers,
Right,
as gas goes up, asphalt goes up, the whole process
Right.
goes up, and it's just not going as far as what it used to.
and when I see that the capital improvements, things are gonna go off in 2027, 2028, but we're gonna have something 2032, 2033, it's, those loans, those things are not gonna end, we're gonna have things in 2032, I'm sure, in 2033, something that we're going to have to need, bigger amount of money that we'll have to get money for.
Like what, Mrs. Crutch?
Well, I'm just thinking new firehouse, or, a new police station, or something big.
We've had several discussions with the fire division dating back to Chief Wilkins's time and the Purple Heart Bridge.
Right,
We had conversations with ODOT that the burden it was going to place on the community during the construction of the Purple Heart Bridge. We did the temporary house out in Noble Township, Vermisburg. But all through that conversation, we don't need a new firehouse. The location, serving Noble, Tiffin, Defiance Township is perfect location. And I believe that's still the case. Personally, I'm just gonna say, there's no need for a new fire station. There's no need for a new police station. Do we occasionally have to upgrade? Yes. And have we upgraded? We absolutely have.
right.
But those things you just mentioned, new fire station, new police station, are not on our radar.
Even when you think of the south side where it's growing, and we've got our high school and our elementary school out there, and we're going to have Ottawa closed and Jefferson closed or whatever, you don't think we could have an extension fire department out on the south side?
No.
No.
The closing of Ottawa, the work on Ayersville are all temporary. That high school, Mrs. Crutch, was built before we attended there.
No, I know that.
And the elementary
Thanks, you.
school's been out there for 10 or 12 years.
Right,
We get along just fine. And we service all of Defiance Township, which is all the way out to the Paulding County line, just fine.
okay, thank you.
Mr. Mast?
I think to kind of add to what Mrs. Crutch is stating is that there could be some unforeseen funds. We can't rule out that we won't have to take out a loan to do something, and usually involves EPA mandating us to do something typically. True. But beyond that, I just wanted to note too that I'm getting a lot of feedback that we are overemphasizing the parks while watching the streets and infrastructure not get their due share. So I just got an email this evening.
Would you share
from
that with us,
someone
please?
stating, what's that?
Would you share that email with us, please?
Well, she sent it to my business.
I hate that when that happens.
So as far as the parks, I am in agreement. We definitely need to focus on streets and infrastructure. I feel that's my response. Sorry. Putting more money into the riverfront parks is not prudent. It often sounds like the mayor wants to make Defiance a great tourist town. The idea of putting a walking bridge over the Maumee and all Glaze is not a good one. With more tourists, there's more traffic, wear and tear on streets, and they're already in horrible condition, more pollution, a need for more parking, which requires tearing down structures for parking. Why put more money into an idea? I'm getting the emails. There are concerns.
I would
about
appreciate
parks.
it. You folks talk about these emails you receive. I wish you would forward that on to us. Because we aren't getting those emails. And I realize the
We bring
folks,
it up here, that's what we do, that's what we're supposed to do.
Mr. Waxler, I'm requesting that you send those emails to me. We can either do it the easy way, or we can do a public records request. Either way, I don't care. Just forward them on. I forward a lot of things on to you folks. I would appreciate the same consideration.
No, we're trying to make this sound like we're gonna, this sounds like, nothing against Ms. Sprague, but you're making it sound like this money's gonna create money or something. That's not the case. I get what you're saying, but we're making this town like it's better than it is. And to me, it's not until we have a budget just for streets. And I understand you say it's gonna pay off debt where we have more money. But we have no guarantee that money's going to the streets, and we never have. We'll say it, but then we end up tying it into this. Well, we had to pay more here, or this and that, and
Mr. Waxler, when budget time comes around, you'll have the say on how much money we spend on streets. You will have a list of streets that we are proposing to pave in 2027. I'm sorry we didn't have that for you in 2026, but you will have it in 2027. We will let you know what the estimated costs are to pave those streets, and then you'll have to decide whether it's enough. The preliminary lists, I think you will, gosh, that's a big list. And the fact that we're paying for the entire roundabout project out by Defiance Regional, that's a big deal. A big deal.
And I agree that we've got the beautiful roundabouts as a corridor coming into our city, but I'm talking about just the basic little streets that are all around our city that are not getting done. And we call all the time for pothole.com, and those poor guys are going out all the time filling those. But, oh God, yeah. But you know, they're going around and filling those, and then 2 days later, they gotta go back and fill them up.
as soon as it rains, it comes out.
You know, and it's like, how much money are we putting into those potholes all over the city when we could maybe do 2 streets? I don't know. But I'd like to make a motion to let this lie and let it sit for a while more.
Oh, we're currently entertaining a motion to adopt.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
So we have a motion to adopt. Are there any other comments or questions?
I have another comment to make regarding the importance of streets and sidewalks is vital in the community. But it is not the reason that people choose to live in a community or to stay in a community or to go to that community to do touristy things. Those are the amenities that your city provides that help keep people there living their life and going to work, and this city budget is largely driven by income tax from people who work in our city and live nearby and in the city. They don't choose to come to a town because the streets are great. They may look at that as an indicator of, do I want to start a business there? But those businesses that are looking at us are also looking at us for what can you offer my employees, because we're going to be moving people in to work here. There's a lot of communities around, with us being halfway between Fort Wayne and Toledo. People don't have to live in Defiance. a lot of people commute way farther than I'd prefer to. But you need the amenities to the city to hold people here, to keep the budget stable and growing, which allows us to free up additional funds, which I was thankful to hear will be dedicated in the budget process to streets and sidewalks. But I do think it's prudent and frankly downright responsible, as well as forward-thinking, to take care of what we have. And when you go to visit a town and think you might want to live there since you just got hired somewhere and you're centered, you want to know that you're living in a place that is taking care of its citizens and its community by taking care of what they have and looking to improve it. When I used to look at school districts, if I was visiting other ones to make a high schools at work technical visit or college accreditation, or even looking at a district to move to a superintendent, I looked to see how they took care of what they had. And when you see something that's run down and it just promotes more vandalism, it promotes more I don't care attitude and apathy, I think by doing the responsible thing and setting aside some money when times are good, and I realize they may not always have an excess budget, we have no guarantee that budget's going to continue to grow, the general fund. But while it is, we ought to set aside something to take care of the assets we have. Because we are a rarity to have a beautiful setting near 3 rivers, the parks that are already numerous but could use some more development so that children with disabilities and people of all ages that have physical handicaps could engage in those parks even more. There's a lot most people don't even realize you could do to include special populations and let them use the parks. I've said enough.
Oh, thank you. Mr. Mast?
Just one last note from me, and Ms. Kaufman, I will answer that with, in the last over 6 years that I've sat at this table, this council has been more than agreeable with spending in the parks. We have passed a lot of money, be it grant money, be it matching funds or our own funds toward parks improvements. So we have not at all dismissed parks in this town. We know the importance of it, and we've been willing to fund a lot of projects.
Right. And
So I think the balance is just swinging now, and we still, no matter what we do, it seems like there's always someone that says, there's just not enough for someone to do in the parks. We still get complaints that we need something for younger kids, 8 to 15. You know, we got, all the adults can walk all over town, but we need something to keep younger kids busy, give them something to do. But I don't think it would be fair at all to characterize this council as not being friendly to parks. I mean, I think
no, and I hope I didn't give that impression. That
I
was
just want
not
to be
my
sure
intent.
that folks know that we
No.
put a lot of money in parks.
Right, and that's, I meant my
Happily
comments
so.
complimentary, that our city has spent time developing and improving the parks, as well as trying to maintain streets as well as they can and sidewalks. However, I'm glad to hear we're gonna hopefully specify more money in the budget process to go toward catching up with the cost of streets and sidewalks. But I also think it's essential that while we have an overage in the general budget, that some of that can be set aside for the short term to help keep those parks nice and maybe look at new ways they can serve new populations.
We have a motion. Are there any other comments from council? All right. Mr. Gray,
My question is simple.
would you please come up to
Whatever you guys
the
wanna do is up
microphone
to
and
you.
state your name?
Daniel Gray, 810 Nicholas.
Well, okay. Go ahead.
Whatever you guys want to do is up to you, but considering there will be a ballot on the measure this November, this says no more property taxes, no more levies. How are you going to justify doing this when that passes?
Mr. President, I would like to respond to that comment. It was announced this week that the folks that were pushing that ballot issue will not have the signatures. It therefore will not be on the ballot in November.
You saved me. It was announced yesterday. There weren't enough signatures. It won't be on the ballot.
Believe what you, it'll be on the ballot.
Thank you for your time. We have a motion and we have a second. Second? All right.
Steve?
Mr. Engel,
Yes.
Mr. Waxler,
No.
Mr. Mass,
No.
Mrs. Crutch,
No.
Mr. Hancock,
Yes.
Mrs. Kaufman,
Yes.
and Mr. Corbett.
Yes.
All right, with 4 yes votes, this ordinance is adopted.
Third reading by caption only. An ordinance amending ordinance number 8702 passed December 9th, 2025, to make appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Defiance, Ohio during the period of January 1st, 2026 through December 31st, 2026.
Ms. Sprague?
Me.
Do you want to put it, put it up, Lisa?
Yeah, sorry.
These are the appropriations for the 406 Police and Fire Capital Fund, the 407 Parks and Riverfront Capital Funds, and the 792 Fire Trust Fund. Keep in mind, these are just appropriations. An appropriation is just setting aside funds for a specific use. Doesn't mean you're spending them, minus the 792 fund. That's money that police and fire collected for their UTV, but it's just an appropriation.
Do we have any questions for Ms. Sprague in these regards? Mr. Corbett?
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Corbett. Second, Mr. Engel.
Mr. Waxler,
No.
Mr. Mass,
No.
Mrs. Crutch.
No.
Mr. Hancock,
Yes.
Mr. Corbett,
Yes.
Ms. Kaufman,
Yes.
and Mr. Engel.
Yes.
With 4 yes votes, this ordinance is adopted.
Third reading by caption only, an ordinance authorizing monthly transfer of funds for the city of Defiance, Ohio for the year ending December 31st, 2026.
Ms. Sprague?
These are the monthly transfers. They're all routine that were approved at the beginning of the year, and I added in the 406 Police and Fire Capital and the 407 Parks and Riverfront Capital. And those will come back to you in December.
Thank
That's
you.
all I have.
Do we have any questions for Ms. Sprague in these regards? Then what are council's wishes? Mr. Hancock?
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Hancock.
Second.
Second, Ms. Kaufman.
Ms. Kaufman,
Yes.
Mr. Waxler,
Does this have the 407 in it?
No.
No.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Crutch,
No.
Mr. Corbett,
Yes.
Mr. Mass,
No.
Mr. Engel,
Yes.
and Mr. Hancock.
Yes.
With 4 yes votes, this ordinance is adopted.
Second reading by caption only, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to execute an anti-displacement and relocation assistance plan and declare an emergency.
Mr. O'Donnell?
Thank you, Mr. President. 2 weeks ago, this body authorized the application of a CDBG Community Development Block Grant Allocation Grant and a Residential Public Infrastructure Grant. And the CFR's Code of Federal Regulations require the city to adopt anti-displacement and relocation plans that are signed by the top executive of the city, that would be the mayor. And this is to ensure that any displaced persons from any grant-related projects receive the proper notice and relocation assistance, if it's applicable, from any of the projects from these grants.
Mr. Hancock.
O'Donnell, could you give us an example?
Sure. In the past, we've used CDBG. I don't know about CDBG funds, but we have used a similar program, FEMA grants, and part of those grants, when we would use federal funding to demolish homes in the Zone A 100-year floodplain, is we would provide relocation assistance for any tenants that were impacted. It's a similar type of program. I don't know that we've ever done this with CDBG. We probably have at some point, but nothing comes to mind.
Would it be more tenants or residential, single-family owners?
Well, a lot of times they were single family with tenants in them, and in those cases, we would have to give them like moving expenses and things like that.
Okay.
Actually, Mr. Hancock, Mr. O'Donnell, I believe the last home that we demolished on East Second Street there, catty corner from the dry cleaner, was FEMA money, and there were reimbursement for relocation expenses made to that occupant of that home. I'm not positive, but I'm fairly certain.
So it's a very similar program. I mean, this would not, to my knowledge, I don't think we're demolishing any homes. It's for playground equipment.
And some infrastructure work.
Yeah, Wayne.
Utility water,
Wayne
yeah.
Avenue.
Yeah, and so
Part of that.
I don't think we're condemning or appropriating any properties, but who knows if something happened and we had to,
The goal with water lines is to not displace people, it's to be able to keep them where they are, so.
yeah, I don't want to rule out anything, but and guarantee you that we would never do that. But if it happened, we would have to do that.
And is there a deadline as far as an emergency?
The deadline is, let's see, it was the middle of this month. I did not put that in the ordinance. I think it's around the 15th of June.
Okay. I'm just curious, I just wasn't sure where the emergency was in this case, because if we had anything planned.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. The application deadline for the allocation grant and the the residential public infrastructure grant is the 15th. But they needed this component to that before those applications went.
Thank you.
Okay. Do we have any other questions for Mr. O'Donnell? No further questions. Motion to suspend and call. We have a motion to suspend and call.
Second.
Second, Mrs. Crutch.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Waxler?
Yes.
And Ms. Kaufman?
Yes.
Motion down.
Motion to adopt, Mr. Engel.
Second.
Second, Ms. Kaufman.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Ms. Kaufman?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mr. Waxler?
Yes.
And Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
With that, this ordinance is adopted. And of the items of legislation for this evening, one last one.
Yep, one more. First reading by caption only, a resolution of the city to a levy renewal with an increased tax in excess of the 10 mil limitation for the Defiance Public Library System Service Area. Defiance City Charter 2.11, 8.02, RC 5705.03, 5705.23, 5705.25, renewal with increased library current expense levy.
Mr. O'Donnell.
Mr. President, those Ohio Revised Code provisions that the clerk just cited refer to Chapter 5705 that governs the tax levies, and it's what imposes the 10 mil limitation on property tax without seeking additional approval from the voters. The Defiance Public Library System seeks both to renew an existing levy and also increase the levy to make it a total of 1.65 mils for each $1 of taxable value for the election this November. And this resolution directs the Board of Elections to place that question before the voters. And I will note that the Library Director, Kara Potter, is here if there's any questions about that levy.
Thank you. Mr. Corbett.
And the purpose of this levy is for what, Kara?
let's explain that also.
Sure. Be happy to. So the purpose of the levy is to cover operating costs for an annex so that we can remain in our 125-year-old building. We've received a donation of property directly across the street from the library, and we were gonna, we'd like to build a building there. We would put children's services on the first floor, have a full basement for storage. Currently, we're paying for remote storage because we have no storage space in the library. And on the second floor would be a large community room that we would use for library programming. Again, we don't have anything like that right now. And then when we weren't using it for library programming, it would be available to local government and local nonprofits for use at no cost. We'd also have on the second floor an office for an adult literacy coordinator, and we'd have an expanded maker space and probably a couple of quiet study rooms. So the levy would be covering our cost, our debt payments to build this building and also to do some renovations in the current Defiance Public Library. It has, it needs some attention. We need a new HVAC system. We probably need some new slate on the roof. And we want to build some more office space and expand our local history services in the building once we get the children's services and makerspace shifted over to the new building. So the addition is to cover the costs for doing all of that plus the operating costs for the annex. So if this passes, we plan on breaking ground in the spring.
I might have missed this. Is it permanent levy?
I don't believe, I think it's.
I thought I read 15 years. Did
Yeah, I
I
think
read
it's
15 years?
So you
Yeah, I don't think we do.
35 years, yeah.
Yeah, so,
I was way off.
Let's clarify that because there were several people talking. You said 35 years, correct?
Yes.
yes, thank you. One thing I want to clarify too about this, because we had a lot of discussion about it. So there's, public libraries in Ohio have a unique status that they don't have in any other state I've worked in. So we're subdivisions of the state of Ohio, and so we can borrow our public library fund, which is the 2/3 of our funding that we get from the state of Ohio. So we're borrowing against that, and and the public library fund is our operating fund, basically. So we're going to be paying for the debt payments out of our operating fund. So the monies in this levy are going to be backfilling that. So this is not this is why this is not a bond, like a construction bond. It's backfilling for payments that we're making from the public library fund. So.
Mr. Mast.
This levy states for current expenses, but that's obviously, it's more towards capital improvements than.
Right, but that's what I just meant. So,
Yeah.
so what'll happen is it's not specifically for, the reason it's structured this way is because we're paying, under Ohio Revised Code, there's a provision for public libraries to borrow against their income from the state. So that's what we're going to be doing. So the debt payment's going to be coming out of our current operating budget. And so the levy will be backfilling that gap in our operating budget, plus the addition will be covering operating budget for the annex.
Do you have any estimates on what the expenditures are gonna be that you're looking at for any of these projects?
Yes, I don't have them with me here, but yes, we do. I can provide those for you if you want later. We are separate, like I said, we're a subdivision of the state of Ohio, so the Defiance City Councils are appointing authority, but I don't believe you have any authority over our budget right now. I mean, the state legislature may change that at some point in the future, but that's the way it is right now.
My last question was there any thought given to separating these to your existing operating levy budget and the new budget for?
You mean putting two levies on instead of one?
Well, when's your current levy up?
It'll expire in 2026, so we have it 1 year. So probably what'll happen is if this doesn't pass, then the following November, we'll just put on our regular levy that we've had for 25 years. So we have one levy right now that has been in place for, next year it'll be in place for 25 years with no change. So right now, we're experiencing some budget cuts. We had an $80,000 budget cut this year from the state because they restructured how the public library fund is set. So it used to be a percentage of the sales tax, and now it's a straight line item, which makes sense. I totally understand why they did it. It makes sense from a planning point on the part of the legislature. But that means that what we were doing is when it was a percentage of the sales tax, if we didn't fully expend it, we were saving it for this project. So the public library is going to be putting in a significant portion of money towards this that we've saved over the years.
Was there any thought to running 2 levies instead of the combined?
That was discussed, but the lawyers advised us to do it in this way right now. So if this fails, probably what will happen is that, well, actually, one of the reasons, the thinking behind that, let me back up, the thinking behind not putting 2 levies on is that then there would be the possibility that people would vote for the building and not for our regular operating levy. And it would be a disaster if that didn't pass because we would have to close our branches. It basically covers the cost of our branches. So
I hadn't thought of that scenario.
yeah,
I was
so
thinking the other scenario.
if the whole thing fails this year, probably what would happen, and this is a board decision, not mine, of course, but I think logically what would happen is if this fails this year, then next year they'll probably just put the operating levy on without the building levy.
Mr. Waxler?
You said your current operating levy expired in 26. You mean 27?
27, thank you.
Okay.
You're
Yeah, because you threw me off there when you were
Sorry.
talking November and next November.
No,
Okay.
we have 1 year, so that's one of the reasons if
Okay,
we're
I got
doing
it
it this
now.
way.
I just wanted to make sure I understood that.
No, you're correct. Thank you for catching that.
Do we have any other questions for Mr. O'Donnell or Ms. Potter?
No further questions, Mr. Clerk.
I'm neglected to mention one thing, Mr. President. Ohio Revised Code, section 5705.23, kind of makes this a formality. It's unique. It actually requires council to certify this question so that the voters can decide whether to support this combined levy. So we respect your autonomy and your decision making. It's one of those where the ORC kind of
It's one of those
requires you
strange
to check the
things.
box.
This is definitely a voter concern.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no, this is a resolution instead of, say, ordinance or anything like that.
That's correct. Yeah.
That's by statute, yeah.
Yeah, and one thing else I want to say to everybody is this building has not had an expansion in almost 60 years. So this will be quite an event for us to be able to do this. I think it's going to be a real positive thing for the community in many ways.
And
No further questions, most spend and call.
motion to suspend and call, Mr. Waxler? Second, Mrs. Crutch?
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Waxler?
Yes.
Ms. Kaufman?
Yes.
Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
And Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt, Mrs. Crutch? Second, Mr. Hancock?
Mr. Engel?
Yes.
Mr. Waxler?
Yes.
Mr. Mass?
Yes.
Mrs. Crutch?
Yes.
Mr. Hancock?
Yes.
Ms. Kaufman?
Yes.
And Mr. Corbett?
Yes.
All right, with that, this resolution is adopted.
Thank you very much, everybody.
Yeah.
With the items of legislation addressed, we do have time for citizens' concerns before we enter executive session. Is there anyone this evening that would like to share citizens' concern? You would need to come up to the microphone, state your name, and you have 5 minutes to address council with any sort of questions or comments you may have. Mr. Posey.
I'm Lonnie Posey, 1504 Dublin Court, Cary Hills. We still have an issue on Deerwood Drive about the speeding. It's south end, it starts out as south end, and it's a racetrack. So that's my issue. Also, I'd like to know if there's anything with all the housing, new developments and everything, if there is anything in the works about the veterans home for the veterans at all.
Call me.
Okay.
It's not that I had a private conversation with a private individual that not anything secret, it was just a recommendation he made, Mr. Posey, that I'd rather share with you and Ron.
So, there's Ron, I will take that on.
Okay?
Thank you, sir.
Yep.
Never mind, Ron, you just got volunteered.
I know what we did.
He chose to sit with me, I'm sorry.
Are there any other citizens' concerns? Mrs. Roop?
I typed it all out because I'm afraid of y'all. So I'll just read it because it's a 5-minute spiel, okay?
Deal.
All right.
And just state your name for
Yes.
the record.
Rebecca Roop, 706 Pierce Street. I've resided in Defiance for the last 19 years. I come here by way of inner city Cleveland, the Steel Mill District to be exact. Now, I know that data centers are not on the agenda tonight, and it is my understanding that there is no formal site plan or proposal here at council at this moment, but this is a small town. So word doesn't need to be published in the newspaper for people to catch wind of what's brewing, potentially, right? Granted, I speak without authority because, again, there aren't papers on file to review. Now, if anyone knows of papers that I can review, I would love to be forwarded that information. But talk of non-disclosure agreements at the county level is perhaps just talk. I wouldn't know. They haven't returned my calls or emails at this time. But that's how those dealings have been done across America thus far. Major decisions around data centers that impact voters decided behind closed doors without voter input, or in some cases in direct contradiction to what constituents are wanting, all in the name of necessary progress. But many of these data centers aren't necessary. When we're talking about basic cloud computing, your Fifth Third bank account or your Google photo storage, we're not talking about the massive data centers that are being proposed now. The scramble to build these extraordinarily resource-intensive centers is almost exclusively powered by the AI boom, which is tenuous right now at best. Perhaps it is the wave of the future and the inevitable next industrial revolution, but perhaps it is the next dot-com bust that will crash and leave everyone who invested in it holding the bag. I believe it is far too great a gamble for our community to take at this time. I brought a few studies tonight that I'll not go into at this time because I don't have the time, and perhaps they might be irrelevant by the time a pending data center is actually proposed. This industry and its regulations, or lack thereof, is constantly changing. I can cite concerns around pollution, residents near data centers who are struggling with asthma, chronic headaches, and new cardiovascular diseases. I can cite concerns around the use of our natural resources and the impact on our utility bills. I can cite empty promises that many data centers have made around creating hundreds of jobs and millions in revenue that the towns who have welcomed them have yet to see. But there's always pushback. They'll say, oh, those turbines are temporary, so your worries about asthma are unfounded. Or the unions are with us because they do create an enormous amount of construction jobs that are very lucrative, but they're not everlasting. The state had a moratorium on tax breaks. Now that's paused, and maybe not forever. The Ohio EPA is reviewing their wastewater discharge permit policy, but we don't know the answer yet. The fact is there are far too many unknowns to make a permanent decision around a data center proposal in our city anytime soon. I remember what it was like growing up near the steel mills in Cleveland. A massive economic opportunity, they called it, and you know what? It was, until it went defunct. And now it is a blight on the land near my beloved hometown's vibrant city center. And residents like my family are still dealing with the health ramifications. We lived over a mile from campus, and yet we still woke up every day to our cars covered in that thin layer of soot, kind of like the oily kind you can't get off your kitchen cabinets. We were breathing that in every day, and the EPA said it was at safe levels. But as a child, I struggled with chronic sinus infections. My brother, to this day, struggles with chronic pneumonia. My mother died in her mid-50s from cancer, and so did the rest of her friends from our neighborhood. The industry promised us an economic boom, and then it ate us alive. And Cleveland has been trying to recover ever since. It is not hard to see this pattern across America. It was coal, then it was steel, then it was shopping malls, and now it's data centers.
perhaps there's a good case to be made for them. I'm not anti-technology. I'm not anti-progress. I'm here today to ask council to protect us from what has thus far, but maybe not forever, but at least thus far proven to be a predatory industry. Please do not sign any non-disclosure agreements and urge representatives at the county level to do the same. Please refuse to act without independent third-party studies on what these things could do to our community long-term. When it comes to data centers, please give us, the voters, the privilege of a voice. I trust our council. I know many of you. I like many of you. Please involve us, because I really think we can work together to make not just a wise, but a lasting decision for Defiance's best future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, should I respond to commentary?
Any questions or comments?
Well presented, thanks.
Because you nailed it
Thank
right
you.
on 5 minutes. Are there any other citizens' concerns?
No, ladies first.
All right. 5 minutes. All right.
Ms. Neese?
I appreciate your time, I do. This is my 4th time up here. I was meeting with a friend over the weekend. I'm from Miller City. I'm off of a small dairy farm. My whole life has been involved in farming. My family is still involved in farming. My dad sold milk to Dill Dairy. That's how involved we are. I grew up in Miller City. Over the weekend, I went to watch the train come through, the big boy. I was standing there with other farmers from Miller City. Unfortunately, data centers came up, and it's a real stressor for farmers. Small farmers are the backbone of this country. In Ohio alone, it's a $124 billion industry. Our small farms are our #1 industry. They employ 1 out of 8 people. Our small farms are keeping our food prices down. They are driving food diversity. When I was a child, a small farm was, one small farmer was providing food for probably 100 people. I think the dynamics has changed. I think it's not like 1 to 500 what we do. Small farmers are involved right now in a project Governor DeWine spearheaded. It's called HTO Ohio Initiative. They're trying to clean up Lake Erie. We have over 2.5 million acres enrolled statewide in this. Half of Northwest Ohio is enrolled in this. I want to submit this to the council. I want everyone to read this. This is where small farms are going in Ohio. They're going to make the environment better. They're going to provide a dynamic we've never seen before because of this initiative. I've talked because every time I go back to Miller City, Ohio, where my family has farmed for 5 generations. I come from Germany. They farmed over in Germany. Every time I go back to Ohio, I meet with small farmers. And over Saturday I met with Mike, who's I grew up with. He manages 5 small farms. We are connected. We're probably one of the most steadfast small farming communities in Ohio. That's all we do. We are the Midwest. We are a community of farmers across 13 states. We are the heartland. That could change in a second. We could become the next Silicon Valley. That's what's at issue here. It's not about it's not about, well, it's all about the money, but small farmers cannot exist with the money that is involved with Silicon Valley. We just can't. It's not possible. The stressors there are too complicated to go into, but because I've been so involved with the community, because I'm part of it, and I talk to a lot of small farmers, I know the stressors. I had to change the subject when I was talking to my friend Mike, because Mike was just so upset what happened over in Van Wert, and his life is tough enough. This year, I think people know how hard it is for farmers to get by, but that is my concern. And it's like I said, we're the backbone of Midwest. And that could change. We could become the next Silicon Valley, but I don't think Ohio wants that. And I don't think the people across the Midwest want that. I think we want to develop our small farms and continue to do that. Thank you. I think everyone should read this. This is where Ohio is going. I didn't even know this. And I've been involved with the community my whole life. It's pretty cool.
If you give it to me.
It's actually amazing. Thank you.
Right. Thank you for being our guest. And are there any other citizens, Mr. Posey?
I think about anything that they say here, but don't get old.
Too late.
You wanna borrow my card?
No. Hi, Ron Posey, 1917 Derbyshire. There's a couple of interesting issues right here tonight. And one's income tax. If you want income tax, you gotta have jobs. And AI is gonna take a lot of our jobs. We're even talking about here in Defiance right now, that some of these restaurants are talking about AI and artificial intelligence. And that's really gonna hurt our community. And also our fact, when I come out of Defiance, like, we had a factory back in the 60s. When I hired a GM, we had 6,000. We're down, what, 400 or 500 maybe, I don't know. 700, Mr. 700? So that's a lot of people we lost. We had John Manville, S.K. Lane, all these. And everybody's talking about income tax, levies and all that. How are you gonna get it from AI? Okay, don't worry about that. I'm not, I don't, boy. I don't mind progress, but not when it hurts the people, okay? And also, touching the issue of pollution, how much is it costing us to keep the water purified, okay? I believe we got a big problem, and I've been kind of a little involved in a little bit of issues on the water coming from the south because of all the open sewage. What do we got to purify that water and keep it up to par? Just a couple issues that I listened to tonight and thought I'd ask you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Posey.
It was nice to see you again, Mr. Posey.
Don't get old. Got it.
And before we enter executive session, are there any other citizens' concerns? All right. Without any, we can take a few minutes and stretch our legs, and then we have an executive session.